Throup.
Deputy Speaker, as we've heard, there's much common ground across the Chamber today. Indeed, I'm sure there's much common ground across the UK. But the UK cannot tackle climate change or protect the global environment in isolation. We can boast many achievements, but perhaps recent weeks have shown that we haven't shouted loud enough about them, and of course, there's always more that we can do. Just last week, I met a member of the Youth Parliament representing Erewash, Chad Fawkes, to discuss his campaign, Last Straw for Ilkeston. To help raise awareness of the amount of single-use plastic which is discarded as litter, Chad is organising the clean-up of the Erewash Canal. And Chad showed genuine knowledge and passion for the issues facing our environment. And of course, he persuaded me to help him with that clean-up. And there's many unusual ways that constituents highlight the issues which concern them. And on the issue of climate change, one way that really grabbed my attention was the handmade messages as part of the Show the Love campaign. And that's far more effective than the hundreds of emails that we get every day. And it made me sit up and think about what we were doing to the climate. And there's numerous ways that we can show leadership in tackling climate change, and one way is through investing in technology. On a recent visit to Ethiopia, in the middle of what we'd call scrubland, there was a few community buildings, and one of them had solar panels on its roof, and this had the sole purpose of powering a solar fridge for vaccines. And interestingly, the solar-powered fridge and the associated technology was developed in Bognor Regis. So I'm sure we can do more to invest in novel technologies to aid developing countries and also to increase our exports, and that's definitely a win-win situation. I'd like to take this opportunity also to congratulate my honourable friend for Cheltenham on his 10-minute rule bill yesterday, which would create a legal obligation for the UK to reach net zero carbon emissions by 2050. And in doing so, we will be the first of any G20 country to make such a commitment. 2050, Madam Deputy Speaker, may seem a long time away, but if we think back 30 years to 1989-1990, that doesn't seem too long ago. So this net zero carbon emissions ambition would yet again show the world that we as a nation are true global leaders. And I said at the start that we don't shout out enough about our achievements. I just want to finish the time I've got left just to talk about some of them. 2008 was Britain's greenest year ever. The World Health Organization has said that the UK is an example for the rest of the world to follow when talking about our clean air strategy. Greenhouse gas emissions have fallen by 23% since 2010, and we can go on and on and on. We need to shout louder and show that we are true global leaders.
Yeah.